Pitt Meadows, Maple Ridge.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's with sorrow that I rise to pay tribute to Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II on behalf of my constituents in Pitt Meadows, Maple Ridge. I offer condolences to His Majesty King Charles III and the entire royal family. Queen Elizabeth II was probably the most well-known woman in the entire world. She was an inspiration to hundreds of millions of people. Her grace, her service, her kindness, her leadership, her example.
While Canada mourns the loss of our monarch, who was the longest reigning monarch, we remember her historic service to the Commonwealth of Nations, her grace, her leadership, and her kindness. Kindness that inspired so many and left an impact on hundreds of millions of lives.
At 96 years of age, she has been with us for all of our lives, or the vast majority. We knew that she wouldn't be with us forever, but even still, her passing came as a surprise, because she was in the public's eyes even a couple days beforehand, meeting with the new Prime Minister of Britain, Liz Truss. Outgoing Prime Minister Boris Johnson said on that day that she was bright and focused, and that his weekly meetings with the Queen were wonderful moments of tranquility and a fantastic break from everything else. There is a sense of loss, national loss, and personal loss. I started collecting stamps when I was a child back in the 60s. Back then, you could send a letter across Canada for 4 cents. Then it was 5 cents, 6 cents, 8 cents, and now we don't even put a numerical value on the stamps. Hers was the lovely face on it. On our pennies, and I do have a jar full, nickels, dimes, quarters. On one side is maple leaf, beaver, caribou, the Blue Nose schooner, and on the other side is her face. We literally carried her with us. She was not only the Queen of Britain, but also the Queen of Canada, our Queen, and the longest serving Queen in Commonwealth and British and Canadian history. Madam Speaker, Canada is the third most enduring democracy in the world. No small feat. Only the United Kingdom and the United States have been democracies for longer. The stability of our parliamentary system contrasts with so much of the rest of the world, which has undergone revolutions, wars, or under oppressive rule. We are a constitutional monarchy whereby the Queen and now the King are the official head of a state under the rule of law and of Parliament chosen by the people. The roots of our freedom trace back to the Magna Carta Libertatum, which is Latin for the Great Charter of Freedoms, signed to make peace between King John in 1215 and unhappy barons some 800 years ago. There are symbols of the crown everywhere, the country and government, here in Parliament. For example, the mace, which is right before us here, is a symbol of the authority of the sovereign Queen, now the King, and the power of the House of Commons. The crown is the institution upon which our entire system of government rests. It's on the authority of the crown that we uphold democracy, peace, justice, and order in Canada. We should never doubt that the crown is indeed a Canadian institution. Madame le Président.
Madam Speaker, during the American Revolution, Quebec had the opportunity to join the other American colonies. And we shouldn't forget that the British had only conquered New France about 15 years before that. But French Canadians decided that it was a much better idea to remain a colony under the King and the British Parliament in order to best preserve their language, their religion, and their freedoms. Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth, was proud that Canada was a francophone nation, and she insisted on speaking to us in French on every possible occasion.
Exemplified service and set the standard for all leaders to follow. As has been mentioned, on her 21st birthday in 1947, she broadcast to the world from South Africa, "I declare to you before that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service." And Queen Elizabeth II did live a life of service. In fact, she served in the military during World War II against Nazism as a second lieutenant. On her first televised speech in 1957, she said, "I cannot lead you into battle. I do not give you laws or administer justice. But I can do something else. I can give you my heart and my devotion." Happily, she did live a long life. On August 28th, just a few days before her passing, I organized an outdoor ceremony to award Platinum Jubilee Awards in honor of the Majesty's 70th year of reign and in recognition of my constituents' dedication to community service. It was a very special time, recognizing some of the well-known people and others that aren't well-known. I think of one gentleman who for many years has carried with him he's walked for about 10 kilometers a day, and with him he brings a garbage bag just and collects garbage along his way. He says it's just, he wants to keep it fit, but we all benefit from his service. On her Platinum Jubilee, when it comes to how to mark 70 years as your queen, she said, there is no guidebook to follow. It really is a first. I remain committed to you, serving you to the best of my ability, supported by my family. And she says, while I may not have attended every event in person, my heart has been with you all. The Queen had her own style. According to her biographer, as the Queen was quite petite, she felt that it was important to be seen in order to be believed. With that in mind, she chose to wear outfits of bright colors in her public engagements. With color-coordinated hats and umbrellas, it was hard to lose sight of the Queen, even when it was raining cats and dogs. She kept the same style for decades, monochromatic, being colorful, eye-catching, yet unflashy. She said that no one would recognize her if she wore more drab clothing. She once said that grief is the price that we pay for love. As we grieve the passing of the Queen Elizabeth II, it's because of our affection for her. And this sorrow is in response to the love that she had for her subjects over many, many years. Madam Speaker, as a member of His Majesty's loyal opposition, I join my colleagues in offering my full support to our new King, His Majesty King Charles III.
As a member of His Majesty's loyal opposition, I join my colleagues in offering my full support to our new King, His Majesty King Charles III.
The King, long may he reign. And with this final quote of the Queen, I close. Each day is a new beginning. I know that the only way to live my life is to do what is right, to take the long view, to give it my best that all the day brings, and to put my trust in God. Thank you.
L'honorable